What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fandom Talk. This week, we're talking about the Joker trailer, Shazam non-spoilers review, Cinemacon, the Avengers Endgame Ticket Snafu, and Rush Hour 4. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And thank you for listening. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fandom Talk. Fandom Talk episode 29. Man, we almost 30 episodes. I mean, we're getting old. We're having a good time here today, man. I got some great guys on. Some you already know, and the other ones you already know, too. I'm going to start off with my man Alex from Momentum Media. What's going on, Alex?
What's up, Malcolm? It's a pleasure to be back on Fandom Talk, and I'm glad we have the whole gang together, so it's going to be an exciting episode, so I can't wait to get into it.
Let's do it. I got my man Kevin Garlington from Hubster Photography. What's going on, Kev?
Hey, man. Happy to be here, ready to talk. It's some pretty good news this week. So let's talk. Let's dig in.
Oh yeah, and last but not least, all the way from Mars himself, Mr. Jeremy Branch from Be Terrible. What's going on, Jeremy?
29 episodes. That is wow. That's fantastic. I guess we'll probably make more of a thing on 30. I mean, 29 is not the one that people are celebrating too much. But this
right.
Glad to be back, man. Glad to be back.
Yeah, I turned 29 this year. Woohoo.
Oh, good.
Yeah, man. So, not only do we have some good things to talk about, today I bought my 200th Funko Pop. All right. Everybody clap it up for me.
Hold up. What did you get for your 200th Pop?
I got the Black Panther Funko where he has on the black robes.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
So, we're going good. We're going strong. First, before we get started, I'm going to let my man Jeremy Branch introduce himself. Some of you know him, some of you don't. Jeremy, tell us everything about you.
So, I live here in Pensacola, Florida. Been doing the podcasting / movie review thing for about 4 years now, give or take a little bit. I have a channel called Movies Are Terrible on YouTube. Got a couple of different podcasts. There's a Movies Are Terrible audio version, which you can find on SoundCloud and iTunes. And then you can check out People Are Terrible on YouTube also. There's stuff all over the place. But, yeah, so me, you, and Kevin have been working together for quite a while, but we went on hiatus, just time didn't sync up for a little bit. And now we've got the whole gang back together, plus super happy to have Alex. Alex and I kind of actually know each other from outside of this as well. So kind of eager to check it out and see how the chemistry is, you know?
All right, man. Let's get started. It's been an eventful week with the things that we talk about. First thing we want to jump on today is this Joker trailer. Boy, did I catch some flack from this Joker trailer, because I told people it was trash. I even had a guy who told me where I could put my opinion. But people didn't understand where I was coming from. And I'll briefly let you guys know. My whole basis was I felt like this movie in itself was a pandering from Warner Brothers. And what I mean by pandering it is we've been given all these broken promises and dreams for these movies that we're supposedly going to see that have never happened and probably won't happen at all. And it was like, here, just watch this. We're just going to do this. It has nothing to do with anything else that we promised. So that was my reasoning for why I felt the way I felt. But, of course, I have not seen the movie. That's the first thing anybody says on the internet. You didn't see the movie. Duh, you haven't either. You know, yeah. So that's just the way that these things go. So I'm going to start to kick it off with my man, Jeremy. Jeremy, let me know what you thought about this Joker trailer.
Well, first of all, I think you have some really good points. In addition to what you just now said on the podcast, we had a conversation about it on the phone kind of right after the post was made, with the day that the trailer came out. And, you know, hearing out your perspective, I get where you're coming from. That said, totally disagree with you. I think it is such a good trailer. I think what it does is kind of subvert the expectations of what fans have come to expect out of DC. First, there was this idea that DC was extremely dark, extremely brooding, extremely gritty. And then all of a sudden they changed it up after Suicide Squad, and they tried to start hitting this lighter tone and get things more upbeat, a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. And then all of a sudden this movie comes out that it was like 5 times darker than anything else that DC's done up to this point. And I can understand people that don't want to see Joker's origin story. Like, I get that. I understand that that's part of the appeal of the character. But honestly, dude, I think Joaquin Phoenix is like top 10 actors working today, and I just really like the tone of the trailer. That said, I'm willing to eat my words because Todd Phillips hasn't made a great movie ever. So that's just kind of where I'm at on it.
Most definitely. Before I pass it on to Kevin, I'm going to pass it on to my man, Alex. Man, tell me what you think about this.
So, to a degree, I kind of agree with Jeremy. The trailer was actually pretty good. Very interesting. And, you know, this Joker seems like this is a Joker who is being hit with, you know, the troubles and trials with life, and that's what turns him into the Joker. You know, we're so used to him falling into a vat of acid or a fat of stuff that turns his, you know, skin white, and then he just goes crazy. You know, but this one, he's like literally going through some serious problems, and he's like, you know, I'm probably going to start killing people as the Joker, you know, with a smile on my face. And that's what I kind of got from the trailer. And also, like, I think we talked about this previously, but, you know, from the reports that I read is that Joaquin Phoenix Joker is actually not the real Joker. He's actually mimicking the actual Joker that's in Gotham. So I don't know if that's Jared Leto's Joker or just another figure as the Joker. DC has said that this movie is outside of the DCEU, so it doesn't fit with, you know, Ben Affleck's Batman or anything like that. So for the most part, I do believe it's its own separate story. But, you know, yeah, to a degree, I did like the trailer. I will say, though, I feel like it's kind of stupid that we are getting a Joker movie and not a Batman movie or not a, you know, Superman movie or not a Justice League 2 movie. I feel like those movies should have been priority over this standalone movie that clearly I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say it broke the internet, but most people are interested in seeing it. And I will say it is interesting, but I just feel as though this movie is like somewhat out of place for me. For me, it's like really out of place, but I am interested in seeing it, and I do wish DC could have focused on their top tier projects instead of these secondary projects. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. Those are all really good points.
Now, one thing about those top tier projects, DC doesn't even have a Batman or a Superman. Those actors are non-existent right now. So and they definitely should focus on those. I'm gonna leave it last with my man Kevin. What you got, Kevin?
Okay, so one thing DC has been doing here lately is they've really so we talked about Jeff Johns in the past. Jeff Johns had his role, and then he stepped down, but he kind of helped with some of the scripts and everything. But what DC has been doing is a lot of the storylines they have going on in the comics right now, they typically find a way to incorporate those into the movies. And I have a theory about the Joker film. So, you know, one thing that us Batman fans are talking about is we like the fact that we have this villain in the Joker, this force that he is, and he doesn't have a definite origin story. Well, in the comic books right now, there's 3 separate Jokers. And also, too, I was watching this trailer, and I watched it again, and I realized something. You know how the Joker is always telling his origin story a different way? This may be that. Mm-hmm. If you watch that trailer, there are a couple different threads you can pick up and look at. And there are a couple different ways this could be. Now, what it looks like is one man's descent into madness, but it may not be that way. It actually might be 3 stories in there that he's telling. One, it looks like a comedian. You got this one guy that's a comedian now trying to make some money, trying to do something for his mom. One guy looks like he has a girlfriend, maybe stuff ain't going so good, and then everything kind of goes from there. So it could be a couple different stories. So they may be holding to that.
That's really interesting.
I think you guys are right, though, when you say, hey, I wish they were focusing on their major properties. The problem with the major properties is they need to put space in between everything because they realize this right now. You take a risk if you cast Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck in those roles again. I am all for it. So let me be clear on that. I would love to see those guys do it again. Don't get me wrong. But I think they're trying to make a clean break from Zack Snyder and everything that went along with that. So if you're going to do that, this is the time you take that break. It seems to me that DC is trying to take the best strategies out there and put them all into one. Whereas if you look at Marvel hasn't made a film that's really outside the realm of kind of what they did. I'll tell you, Iron Man 3 is kind of their outlier. You know what I mean? As far as weird films, because Shane Black came in and did that one. But if you look at this strategy they got going on, they're making lighter films. Oh, and this is their first film, that kind of auteur-directed film, right? I know it's Todd Phillips. I'm not calling him an auteur, Jeremy, so don't kill me. But
no, you got a good point, though, for sure. It's like a prestige movie.
Right, so, and they're taking that strategy from Fox, because they just did this with Logan. This is their Logan. And I realize the Joker is not Wolverine. It's two separate sides of the story. What I'm saying is, if you have a studio, you don't have your major actors signed, you don't have a good script for what you would do for Man of Steel 2, you don't have a good script for what you would do with another Batman film, right? What they did was they said, okay, Todd Phillips had this idea, and they gave him a little bit of the money to shoot it. So instead of them going to spend $150 million, like this is like a $50, $60, $70, $80 million movie. It's not that much as compared to what they would do for a normal superhero fare. And I think they're doing this, and that's why I agree with you guys a lot. I think they're doing this just so they know they have a gap in between what we just saw, Shazam, and then Wonder Woman 84. They needed something in that space. Todd Phillips had his script and said, I can do this for the cheap. Let me go out and do it. So I agree with you guys on the fact that I think it's out of place. I really don't want a definitive Joker origin or whatnot. But I gotta say, I went back and watched this trailer probably 10 times. I like what they're doing in this thing. I really do. But we all have to come to grips with this just may not be our Joker. And that's what Alex was talking about. I heard that theory too as well, Alex, when they were talking about that this may not be the definitive. This is just a guy. You got to remember too, the name of the film is not The Joker, it is Joker. So you have to
in the trailer it shows in the trailer it shows a young Bruce Wayne, so the ages would be so far out of the realm of what they're normally portrayed as. But yeah, Joker actually touches and makes a little Bruce Wayne smile, so it seems like that it wouldn't be able to be the same Joker, right?
I would go with that. You know, I think there's an age difference between the two. I mean, because if you really look at it, like we go back to Batman '89, look at the age difference between that Bruce Wayne and that Joker, right?
Yeah, good point.
But at the same time, though, what we typically read in the comics and everything, it doesn't seem that way. But Alex brought it up too. This guy fell into a vat of chemicals, typically, right? We don't know what that did to him. So so it's kind of one of the things where I mean, Joker could be 75 for all we know.
Exactly.
But I think that everybody that's spoken has something to say. I agree with some of the points that everybody had to make about it. I know that this film is going to be divisive. It's going to be somewhat weird, and they're taking a big risk with this movie. But I'll tell you this. If they go out there and this movie makes $200 million in the U.S. and another $200 overseas, it's a hit. The bar is going to be really low for this to be a financial success.
Sure.
Yep, and they took it from, it's not part of the DCEU, so they kind of padded there. They can say, okay, we made this one-off movie, you guys didn't like it. Hey, Wonder Woman 84 is coming up. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And for me, that's when it goes into the pandering aspect. Like, we got to have something to put out so we won't get overpowered by Disney. Because another topic that I'm going to bring up in a minute, in one of the other segments you got, we'll get back to it. But we're going to move on to the next thing. Some of us have seen Shazam, and that some of us, everybody except for Alex, but it's okay. It's okay. So we're going to talk we're going to do a little quick non-spoilers review. I'm going to be very brief. If I had to put the DCEU movies in a row right now, I would go Wonder Woman, Shazam, Aquaman. It's a hard time between Justice League and Suicide Squad for me. And then Batman and Superman falls somewhere down at the bottom of the box. But just non-spoilers, totally enjoyed Shazam. I really didn't have any issues with this movie. And a lot of people misconstrue me sometimes as a DC hater. No, I typically watch more DC content than I do Marvel content. But I had no problem with this movie at all whatsoever. I'm going to let the other two guys give their brief non-spoiler thoughts real quick. Go ahead, Kevin.
I enjoyed it. So I took my 7-year-old son at 9:15 at night, which I normally don't do, and he watched that whole film. You know, he loved it. I loved it too for what they did and for what I know the character to be. It was kind of bittersweet for me though, and the reason why it's bittersweet is because as well as Shazam did, I realized we're that much further away from getting another Superman movie.
Yep.
Because they have essentially, they got their Superman. I said this on the last show. The power set for Superman is there now. So if they need that and want to do something with that, they can play around a little bit and kind of fill that void. I hope they get a Superman. I hope they cast somebody, and I hope they get to moving on it. But I don't want to talk about Superman. I'll just say Shazam was a fun movie. I know a lot of people from the trailers, haven't seen it. We're talking about, they're trying to be like Marvel now. No, this movie is what it should be for that character, and it has a sense of humor. It has this and it has that, but it does not feel like an MCU film, and it doesn't feel like they were trying to copy that at all. Because now, when I talked about this, there's some dark moments in this movie still.
There are.
There are. There's some dark moments, and we won't spoil those because my man Alex hasn't seen it yet. And Alex, I swear, I wish you had seen this movie because there's so much shit to talk about, but we can't get into it. So,
yeah, we don't mean to single you out for not seeing the movie, Alex.
yeah, Alex. No, it's all good, man. But I'll pass it over to Jeremy, man, and let him give his review on it.
That's a really good point about the Superman thing. Holy crap, I didn't think about that at all. That I feel like Superman's an irreplaceable character, I guess, is a way to say it. I don't think that, but it is interesting because their power sets are so very similar.
Sure.
I now got out of it, and I thought it was just a lot of fun. I kind of got what I expected out of it. However, like you alluded to, there are some kind of darker elements in it. The 7 Deadly Sins, very cool element of maybe horror within the movie. Really great family moments in it, like a nice sweet sentiment about choosing your family and all that kind of stuff. And it was super funny. The only thing that, and this isn't even a complaint about the movie, it's a complaint about the release schedule. It really had a Christmas vibe to it. Obviously, it took place on Christmas, but the whole theme of togetherness and family and all of that stuff, familial love, it just felt like it should have been smacked right in the Aquaman spot and then put Aquaman in the summertime because it's about being underwater. But again, that's really not a thing about the movie, just something about the release dates that was weird to me.
I agree with you, and I wonder if this movie would have doubled its weekend had they put it out around that time. But the problem with that was, so you got Shazam, Mary Poppins, Bumblebee. Yeah, all out at that same time. Though Christmas was crowded, and Aquaman ended up winning. You know what I mean? Winning. I'm saying if they would put Shazam at that time, that's what 3 movies that came out, but they did Aquaman. But I'm with you on that, man. It did have a Christmas vibe, and I wonder if they'd have done $100 million or something like that had it been out at Christmas.
It's a good point you made, though, because whatever they did with Aquaman, they obviously made the right call. It's just, I guess, seasonally in my mind, there's some sort of disconnect. I don't know.
So, Jamie, with you saying that, would you have not put this movie out this month and waited until this Christmas?
Yes, I think I would have. Yes, I think I would have. I think there's just something about, for me, there's something about seeing holiday movies around the holidays that's automatically going to give them that little extra bump of sentimentality. You know what I'm talking about? Like the sleigh bells keep going, you like the endorphins start going in your head, and you're like, it reminds me of simpler times or being a kid or whatever. So like there's already that little extra bump of emotional manipulation, I think, when you put it out that time of year. But I think it just felt a little more like a special movie with that element being brought out and focused on more. That's a stupid criticism, though, because, again, I really did like the movie. I walked out of there thinking it was probably my favorite Warner Brothers DC movie, and I don't think it was a great film. I just think it was a highly enjoyable, just like crowd pleaser movie.
We're going to move on to the next topic, which is Cinemacon, which was this past week. We learned a lot from Cinemacon this past week. You know, the Disney-Fox merger completed itself on March 20th, and it was in rare fashion and form at Cinemacon. Normally when Disney puts out the slates, it's just Disney movies, but on that slate, it included the Fox movies that are coming out, and not just the X-Men movies like New Mutants of Dark Phoenix, all of the Fox series movies. It was also stated that one of the things that they will continue to do is have 20th Century Fox and the Fox Searchlight banner to continue to fly, but of course it is under Disney, and that they are still going to do Alien movies. They're still going to do Deadpool, and it was another franchise that I forgot that they were going to continue under this banner. So a lot of stuff went down. They showed trailers. They showed scenes from The Lion King. They showed, excuse me, guys. They showed scenes from a lot of different stuff. So the Fox Disney merger, it's final, and I can't remember if we talked about it last week. Did we talk about it last week, guys?
We did, and we were missing Jeremy Branch on that one. That's the topic that you and I tend to go round and round, but you know how we are, but we did talk about it though.
All right. So with that being said, I appreciate you mentioning that, Kevin. With that being said, Jeremy, go ahead. Since you missed last week, tell us what you think about this Fox Disney merger.
Don't mean to single you out for missing the show last week, Jeremy. So yeah, there are obviously a lot of good trailers that they showcased. I think all that's exciting. It's just nice to get little clips and footage from the movies, and there are a ton that they featured that I'm really eager to see. But I think you kind of alluded to one of the big takeaways for me, Malcolm, and that's the Disney-Fox merger. I think that's kind of it's the signifier of like just the Romans defeating every country around them, just like total conquest back in the day. Like, these are two such massive companies, and Disney just swallowed them up whole. And I know for fans there are some really exciting prospects there, but it's really fascinating for the future of the industry as a whole. I don't know ultimately whether it'll be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's really undeniable that it's going to have major impact. You also mentioned that they're going to continue to put out movies that are Fox properties. I think that's great, and I hope they do continue to fly the Fox banner. Maybe when you guys know something about whether they're actually going to still use those things. I think that's one of the big takeaways, and then the other thing I wanted to touch on real quick is the Netflix side of it. There is a lot of contention about Netflix and kind of what it's doing to the theatrical experience, and there's a bit of animosity from Hollywood and traditional filmmakers about this new medium, because obviously it's threatening for them. But Helen Newman took the stage at one of the presentations, and in the middle of her speech, she basically said, F Netflix. She said, I love Netflix, period. F Netflix. And the crowd erupted into tears and stuff. So we're at this really interesting time where it looks like Marvel and Disney and Star Wars are going to run the multiplexes, and then everything else is going to get released on streaming. And maybe that's great because Disney puts out good quality stuff, but also maybe it's the homogenization of art, and I guess all we can do is just kind of kick back and see what happens.
Most definitely. One thing that came out of CinemaCon for me this week was that Disney has the potential to have the top 5 grossing movies of 2019. I want to throw that to Kevin first. Tell me what you think about that possibility.
Well, it's a strong possibility. I mean, I think that with everything that they own and the way that all these things are coming out, I mean, we got a Star Wars movie dropping this year, and then you have one of the most anticipated comic book movies of all time comes out, in 18 days. So, and not to mention The Lion King, so here we are again with Disney just, crushing stuff. But I want to make a comment real quick, and I'm going to jump off and let Alex jump in there. I know he's chomping at the bit. The thing that Jeremy just brought up, and we've been talking about this for a while, is Hollywood's response to Netflix. Mm-hmm. But I understand where Hollywood is coming from and they're nervous and they're a little scared or whatever, but they say that, and then we are still setting box office records. We have not gone a year. No, in the last 2 years, we have been setting records. It could be, biggest January release. Look how much money Black Panther did in the U.S. Like, we are not that far removed away from these massive records. People will leave their house and they will go to the movies. I think when you look at Netflix and the way it's consumed, people binge it and people do this and that, but Netflix gives us one thing. It gives us the freedom to just sit down on a Wednesday night and catch up on that show or that movie. I don't have to worry about not going to the movie so I can watch this. No. This is going to be here when I get home. I can watch this on Sunday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's what I think the movie industry is missing. I really do. Now, I understand we're talking about a lot of the blockbusters and maybe some of the smaller films get swept up in some of that stuff, but I venture to tell you that some of these smaller films, their box office isn't that great anyway. So I can see where the small guys are the ones that get caught up in this and not the big guys. I get that point, but at the same time, nobody is gonna go out and see, if Beale Street could talk. Like, that's not gonna be a blockbuster. It's a prestige film. You're gonna get your 20 or 30 million, and that's gonna be it. So I'm sorry, I had to just jump in there. Alex, my man, please jump in there and save me, because I'll go off.
I got you, Kev. I got you. So I agree with a lot with what Kevin just said, and also you have to keep in mind, someone who's an aspiring filmmaker, Netflix, to a degree, for people like me and other filmmakers, and actually other big filmmakers as well, Netflix, to a degree, is giving people those opportunities to make their projects.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you have to, we have to understand that, for instance, Bird Box. I wouldn't pay to go see Bird Box in theaters, but it was on Netflix. I was like, yo, I'm a peep it. And even something like Triple Frontier, that was, I believe that was Ben Affleck's movie. I'm not sure. But Ben Affleck has done, he has an Oscar.
Dope movie, by the way, too.
Very dope movie. He's done multiple movies. But when I watched the movie from beginning to end, dope movie, I can't honestly say I would pay money to go see it. I probably would, like at a AMC Classic, but not at a AMC Prime Theater. That's just me. Like, I wouldn't spend $15 to go see Triple Frontier. So, I agree with Kevin's point that the studios are putting out projects that we want to see. As far as Netflix, when Netflix puts out something, we can literally wait a few months to go see it. Like, for instance, I'm sure everyone on this group chat has probably finished watching all of the Netflix Marvel series. I have not finished Punisher yet, season 2. I still haven't finished it, and it's been out for the last 5-6 months. I haven't finished it, but I know for a fact
I haven't started.
Exactly. But it's still there. I know for a fact that it doesn't matter if I wait X amount of months. I know for a fact it ain't going nowhere for the most part, so I can just wait on it. As far as films to Kevin's point when he said Black Panther, all that money that he made, all that money that Black Panther made, that Black Panther was the first movie in my lifetime where I've seen people rent out theaters just for this movie. And I'm talking people who have everyday jobs, people who have people who are artists. Like Kendrick Lamar rented 3 theaters. Jay-Z rented theaters. So you have to understand that it's not the fact that we can't make these blockbusters, because we can. Oh, we can, but it depends on certain aspects of what the movie's talking about. Like, for instance, how I brought up Bird Box. I don't believe, people are going to rent out theaters for Bird Box. That's just me. I mean, it's not a bad film. I enjoyed it for what it was. But if you were to say to me, hey, I'm going to put Bird Box in theaters, it's going to cost $15 to go see it, and Endgame's coming out at the end of the month, should I save that $15 for Endgame, or should I go ahead and watch Bird Box? You can even make that same argument with Us. Us was a dope film, right? But if Us was very close coming out towards Endgame, I wouldn't have seen Us. That's just being honest. That's kind of the reason why I
There's
haven't
kind
seen
of
Shazam.
interesting thing, Alex, where like you know, a movie like A Quiet Place, which is in a lot of ways similar to Bird Box, like who would have ever thought that that movie would have been such a breakthrough? So there are exceptions to the rule. I guess it's just like it does depend on what your preference is, but it feels like some people still do want to go get that communal horror experience in particular, you know, like cheap horror movies do all right.
But like for me, okay, so like as a filmmaker perspective, right? If I spend, this is just me, if I spend $10 million on a horror film, and this is my first film, I'm not sure if I want to put that in theaters. I would sell it to Netflix because I know I get my money back plus more.
Yeah,
and I know, and I know Netflix would give me some form of an interest. Now, if I spend $30,000 on a horror film like the Paranormal Activity films, those are no more than $30,000 to $50,000. If I spend that kind of money, I'm willing to take that risk of putting it in theater because I know I can make that money back, and that's $30,000 including making the film and marketing. So you have to look at that from a money perspective. Like for instance, the Mowgli movie was supposed to come out in theater, but Warner Brothers was like, you know, Jungle Book is popping right now. I don't know how this is gonna do, so let me cut my losses and sell it to Netflix. They probably made a killing off that movie from Netflix. Even the whole Kevin Hart special that just came out. Kevin, and this is what people don't know. The last special he put out in theaters didn't do too well in box office. That's not to say that he's not funny. It's just like he didn't get the return like he thought he did. So what did Kevin do? He sold it to Netflix. Now Netflix gave him, according to him, $40 million for that special. Oh, like, you know, crazy. You know what I'm saying? So like, you have to weigh your costs with that. So that's where I'm at with that.
Man, Netflix is that's why I love this show, because we can get off of into stuff that really takes the time to branch out what we really think. People have been whining and complaining about Netflix, and just like Alex said, he hasn't finished season 2. I haven't even started, but I know we can finish this podcast, and I can go sit in front of that TV and watch it, which I'm not going to do because I just downloaded the new Power Rangers game on Switch. Anyway, but you have that ability to do so. I don't understand why people are technically afraid of Netflix. Now, Alex, you mentioned something earlier about Netflix being a breeding ground for, you know, young filmmakers and even big filmmakers. But in actuality, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, Amazon Prime is doing even more on that front.
Yeah, that's true.
They are doing even more. There's a guy that I've met who owns a company called Red Crow Comics. His name is Jay Burton. He's out of Huntsville, Alabama. And one of his movies or short films that he's done just premiered on Amazon Prime.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, so it's that in itself. Netflix is doing that, but Amazon Prime is even a deeper breeding ground for those type of short films. There's even a short series of these young professionals in Mobile, Alabama, that's getting ready to air on Amazon Prime. It's like a little documentary series. So it's like it's becoming easier for people to slide in there more so than it is for Netflix. This when you guys brought up the comment about Kevin Hart, it takes me back to Monique. Netflix will pay for what they want to pay for if it's good.
Exactly.
At the end of the day. But let's go ahead and we jump on to our next topic. And I got away from my list. All right. We are talking about the Avengers Endgame Ticket Snafu. Oh, boy. Like Kevin said, Alex biting at the bit. Was biting at the bit early. I'm going to go ahead and let Alex jump on this. I know he's ready. Go. There you go. You got it. Go ahead.
First of all, I want to thank you guys for letting me be on the show today. This topic is okay. So, like, everyone who follows me on social media of any kind, whether it's on YouTube, my personal Facebook, or my multiple Facebook pages, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, they know I've been gearing up for this movie ever since Infinity War. I've said on this show, and I've said on other platforms that I have and others, that, you know, they didn't have to release a trailer for this movie. You know, the best marketing tool for this whole movie was Infinity War. All they could have showed us and to a degree they have, but all they could have showed us is Infinity War scene, and we would have still been sold for Endgame. So, you know, I remember the last episode we did, Fandom Talk, I had said that, you know, I had recently did an interview with Robert Meyer Burnett, and he had told me off camera that the tickets were going on sale April 2nd, you know, because he's a part of the business, so he knows when these things are coming out. And I'm assuming that it wasn't that much of a rarity news to people who work in this particular thing, so I'm sure some of you guys already knew that, but he just told me, like, yo, wake up around this time, go purchase your tickets, yada, yada, yada. So I have a very interesting story. So Malcolm knows about this because, like, we were talking through it when it was happening. So for me, like, I remember I woke up at 7 a.m. to, you know, just to get ready for work, get my family ready to do what they need to do, yada, yada, yada. On Instagram, one of the Avengers, I believe it was the actor who plays Captain America, he dropped the trailer, he dropped the 30-second or 15-second promo trailer of, you know, of the Avengers Endgame, and at the end of that trailer it said, buy your tickets now. So I watched that. I go to my AMC app. AMC app's not working, like, at all. So I'm like, okay. I go to my app store and I see that if there's an update for it, download the update. Update takes literally like 3 seconds. Go back into the app, still not working. So I'm like, okay. So I download Fandango. Fandango puts me in line. At first it said it would be like a 20-minute wait. I'm like, cool. I'm waiting. Then it turned from 20 minutes to an hour. I was like, all right, I ain't got to be at work at this time, so I think I could wait. I was like, okay. Then it says the line is pausing. So I'm like, all right, let me just go to the actual website on my computer. So I get on my computer, log in, blah, blah, blah. And essentially the same thing is happening on both AMC and Fandango. So I download the Atom Ticket app. Same thing. So, like, me and Malcolm were talking about this, and I said, you know, are you having trouble? And he was telling me he was having the same issue. And I was like, you know what? I have maybe an hour and a half before I go to work. Let me stop by the theater that's up the street from my house. So I'm like, the theater that's up the street from my house is a Disney AMC Prime right here in Orlando, literally 5 minutes. I go up, find parking, I walk to the theater, and it seemed like to me most people were not there to buy Avengers Endgame tickets, because most people were going there to watch stuff like, you know, Dumbo and all that other stuff. So I get in line, I sign in on the kiosk, and I noticed like the Dolby showing of this movie is sold out. So I'm like infuriated. So I'm like so mad because I literally got up for this reason. So I pull the AMC guy aside. I'm like, yo, you know, the site was down. I want to let you know I'm not angry at you. So I don't want you to think I'm taking my anger out on you. And I know there's nothing that you can do. But is there anything I can get with a good seating with this show? He said, unfortunately, we're sold out. We had a rush come in at 5 a.m. I was just like, yo, like this. I was so heated. So I found a standard showing where I still got to choose my seat, and, you know, it's at a good time. And the standard viewing at this particular theater is the equivalent of an IMAX showing at a Regal theater or a Carmike theater, especially the theaters back home in Pensacola. So, but still, I'm mad because that's not what I want to see there. So I'm hot, I'm hot. I post a video about it on Instagram and on Facebook. Like, I am so angry. I still got my tickets, but it's not what I wanted. So, you know, later on that day, me and Malcolm were talking, and AMC sends us both an email saying that we're sorry about the power outage. So I send them an email. I'm like, yo, this is unacceptable. Last year when Infinity War came out, I didn't have these problems at all. Like, I did when that trailer dropped where you could buy your tickets. I bought my tickets then. I picked my seat. I knew where I was going. I think it was either the Black Panther premiere or the Infinity War premiere where I saw Jeremy and his wife there, and like they didn't have that issue either. So for me, I'm like, when Endgame came out, when all this stuff was going on, I'm like, I am hot. So I think, AMC and all the other theater chains should know when a blockbuster like this happens, they should be a little bit more prepared. I think the same kind of deal happened with Infinity War where the site got shut down. I'm just saying, and maybe it's because I was living in Pensacola at the time. That wasn't an issue. Here in Orlando, I'm telling you, all them tickets went out like literally within seconds. I'm like, and every day I'm still checking to see if there's availability so I can upgrade my ticket. Because this is unacceptable. I'm like, but anyway, aside from my personal hatred towards this thing, I did get a ticket. I am still going to go see the movie. And I think that AMC and all this other BS that's happening should do a better job of how they sell tickets. I'm not saying that I was the only one wrong, because I'm sure that there were other people who didn't get their tickets and can't see it on the 25th. But
over this game, it's so funny.
But I feel as though someone who's been I'm an AMC subs member, for Christ's sake. Okay. I'm just saying. And on top of that, there was a point in time when I would do reviews. AMC would retweet and post my reviews on the movies that I would do. So the fact that I've established maybe a small relationship with them, that you would think that, hey, okay, Alex is one of us,
They're putting you on the blacklist, bro.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And I'm like, I was so infuriated. So, but that's what happened to me in regards to this story.
You thought Tyler Perry was done. Coming to theaters. Diary of a Mad Black Ticket Holder. Well, I didn't have that much issue getting a ticket. I went online, it was closed down. Went online again, it was closed down. Made a phone call, had a ticket in about 15 minutes. Shout out to my guy who works at AMC. Anywho, I'm going to pitch it over to any of you guys. Did you guys have any issues, Kevin and Jeremy, getting a ticket for Endgame?
I'll jump in there real quick. So they had a virtual waiting line for tickets, and that's exactly the strategy for getting tickets from Comic-Con in San Diego. And I'll tell you this. Part of my little theory on this whole thing is they just made these tickets a hot commodity. I'm sitting here, and the movie industry, especially Disney, they can pinpoint and tell you what the opening weekend is going to be, how much interest they have, and blah, 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 right? I just got this feeling that they put this 3-hour movie out, and I'm not saying they crashed the servers on purpose. I'm not going to go that far.
Listen to you, saying, Mr. Conspiracy Theory over here.
I'm just saying.
I love it, man. Hey, that sounds like it could possibly be legit, though, for real.
Well, I'm just saying, when you have a movie this big, and we all know it's going to be big, they know it's going to be tremendous, right? The first thing that Disney would do is, if you are responsible for being the gateway to my product, you're going to make sure that everything is good to go. Anybody that does anything for Disney is well vetted, right? I think and furthermore, if you look at the screen that popped up when you went into the virtual waiting room, it had the Avengers logo and everything, right? So you only get to that screen if we plan for this to happen. You like somebody had to make that screen. They knew, hey, we're gonna be flooded or whatever, right? Hey, this thing may go on and may crash. Guess what? It's going to create a frenzy for tickets. Now, and the reason why I bring this up, the movie is 3 hours. They will not be able to turn over as many theaters as they would with a 2-hour movie in one day. So what happens is, now you take this thing, and people are willing to go from Thursday night all the way through Sunday night to be part of that first weekend. Right? So everybody's like, oh man, this thing is sold out. Oh, people that got to go to work Monday morning. Well, I'll go Sunday at 7, and I'll just have to get up, you know what I mean? And it's just one of those deals. So I think part of this, on their part, it may be a little bit preemptive, just to say, hey, we're going to create even more of a frenzy and even more of a hype. Oh, and by the way, Fandango and AMC, y'all going to take the heat because Disney don't sell tickets.
Exactly.
I kind of just feel like that. I kind of feel like that. But that's just me, though. That's just me.
On the next episode of Twilight Zone, crashing
On
servers.
the bright side, Alex, I found an upgrade for you for $60,000. You can get 4 tickets for the Times Square Theater on the Friday showing of the film on eBay.
Yeah, I saw that on
You
eBay
see what I mean,
too.
guys?
I saw
crazy,
that on
right?
eBay too. Like, I see
That's
that people are literally
unbelievable.
buying tickets and selling them for astronomical prices, and I'm like, yo, like, I mean, I want to see the movie, but I'm not spending $15,000
No,
to see this movie.
That's unreal, man.
Exactly.
Oh, no. But so as far as I didn't have a problem getting tickets. I just decided to go to the digital one. It was assigned seating, so we got a Thursday showing at like 7 o'clock. It's prime time. Obviously, I'd rather do the IMAX showing. It really is a big difference, but at the same time, kind of, Kevin, what you said about like waiting till Sunday or waiting till after opening weekend, like I want to be part of the conversation. I want my experience to be able to be shared with the true fans and stuff. So I was like, man, I'll take the hit, because I logged on super early to try to get IMAX showing for the 7 o'clock, and it was like, no. Then they opened up like at 10 o'clock, and I was like, I could probably swing that. It sold out immediately. They put up at 2 a.m. and I was like, no, I'm not that dedicated. Hello?
Hey, Jeremy, real quick. That's why I wanted to. That's another point I wanted to make was.
Oh yeah.
When you have theaters who say no, our last showing is going to be 10 o'clock, and then we crash your servers. They start adding showings so they can sell more popcorn and drinks, and I think that's what Disney was doing. That's my point I was trying to make.
Oh yeah.
You can only turn over so many theaters from 11 o'clock to 10 o'clock with a 3-hour movie, right? If AMC as a chain has not bought on to what they do in Atlanta, maybe probably Orlando and LA and other places where I could go see the movie at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, or I can go, at 12:30 Saturday morning, right? So the other cities have to buy on to that. So what do? I crash your servers and I show you that there's a need to do this. Oh, and by the way, everybody wants to be part of the conversation the first weekend, so you need to add more showings. You need to damn near give me another theater and make it 24 hours damn near to get everybody in the theater. I think that's part of it. I think that's what this was.
Yeah.
Because the fact that we all logged on and those showings weren't already available means at some point AMC told Disney, hey, we ain't doing that. And Disney was like, y'all gonna do this shit. By hook or by crook, you doing it. Right?
Exactly.
So.
Mickey Cotton said, you're going to sell those tickets?
On the other side of it, though, and I know, Alex, I think you were talking kind of in hyperbole just a little bit about it, and Kevin, to your point, like, you can't always anticipate a movie at this level. It's almost unprecedented, and the reason I say that is prior to this, the highest pre-sale tickets for a movie ever was Captain Marvel, the last freaking Marvel movie, right? And this one particular site where you buy tickets, I don't even remember which one it was. It wasn't Fandango, but whichever particular service this was that you could purchase tickets ahead of time, had sold 10 times more in pre-sales than Captain Marvel. So, like, it's astronomical, the amount of pre-sales it's done. It immediately broke records for the most viewed trailer of all time. Longest runtime for a Marvel movie yet. So, like, and just the anticipation and the hype is palpable. I'm just curious, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. Like, is this going to be the first Avengers movie that anybody goes and sees? Is this going to be somebody's gateway into the MCU?
I don't think so, because, like, the only reason why I say this will not be the first gateway to Avengers movies because this is why I kind of made this argument earlier. This movie did not have to put out any trailers to get to do what it's doing right now. Like, people who saw Infinity War, like, I know people right now who bought Infinity War on DVD, they've got it on digital, they have it on their phones, they illegally downloaded the movie. I mean, that's how much they loved Infinity War. So, I mean, there might be, out of 100%, there might be 5% of people who are going to go see this movie for the first time. And those people, and I'm not saying that they're not, like, in the same mindset or industry that we are in, but I'm assuming those people are probably not as big as big Marvel fans. You know, I look at, you know, most people who watch this or watching this movie are not all comic book fans. Like, I'm sure all of us have read a Marvel comic book at some point. Most of these people are just Marvel movie fans. And Marvel has done a good job of just selling their movies. Like, you can watch these movies and not have to read the comics at all.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I don't think that this is a movie that for the first time people are just willing to watch.
So maybe there's a guy and he just started dating a girl, and the girl doesn't give a crap about Marvel movies. He could care less. But they just started dating, and he's like, hey, let's go see Avengers. He's seen every other Avengers movie. He's like, hey, let's go see Avengers Endgame this weekend. And she's like, fine. And then they go, and she's like one of the few people maybe that would have actually went and seen one of these movies for the first time. But yeah, I agree with you, Alex. I think it's like everybody's already so invested. The reason why I asked that is because of how high the ticket grosses were. It's almost like every fan that's ever watched the Marvel movies coming out to the theater to see this one or something, you know?
No, I think you got a point. I think if you go back and look at it, I don't think this is your entry. So this may be somebody's entry into going to see these movies at the theater, right? What I think happened, to go back to Alex's point, was if I have that movie in 4 different places, I'm sharing that with people in the office, right? Hey man, did you see this part? You like this, you know, or whatever, right? So when that, you know, as far as Infinity War traveled, because I argue with people all the time, I don't think you've have seen any other movie, but you can watch Infinity War and get invested into wanting to know what's going to happen. And I'm saying that from the standpoint of, we put a lot of stock in theories and where the Infinity Stones were going to be and how they were going to collect them. But I know some people who went to the movies purely because their kids wanted to go, right? They saw it and they understood this guy's got to collect these things so he can do the thing. And the most important thing in that movie was the snap, not the stones, right? So somebody who saw it for the first time, they're saying, okay, he did the snap, he won, now how are they going to fix it? And they don't have to know anything else. So I think that's kind of, so I think, Jeremy, I think you're on to something there, where it could be a thing to where this may be somebody's first theater experience. But I think Infinity War was that on-ramp for some people, though. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that, too. Yeah, I just cannot believe how soon it is at this point. I am so stoked to go see this movie.
Man, I'm leaving my house like 4 o'clock just to get there on time.
There you go.
Oh, man, I got a signed seat, and I'm telling y'all right now, look, the theater I go to sometimes in Mobile, it's called the Nexus. And sometimes some of the older folks come in and they don't read the ticket right. They don't mean any harm or whatever. I'm probably just not going to be as nice as I normally am. You know, when I come in there, I'm going to need my seat to be legit, and I'm going to just need you to get your ass up. And that's just what it's going to be.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Captain Marvel, that person, like they're a super scroll.
You're right. Bruh, Kevin, I agree with you, man, because I promise you, if someone is in my seat, especially what I had to go through, man, I'm going to own that theater. I'm going to own that thing. That thing going to say Alex Hampton's AMC Theater. I promise you. Because if they don't rise up, I'm going to jail. For real.
Yeah. And that's a decision we got to make, right? Either you going to jail or you see in the movie. So I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got to make a decision right here. And I don't want them to put me in that position. Don't put me in that position, goddammit.
The movie going to be go named from Avengers Endgame to Alex Jail Time. Exactly. Well, most definitely, guys. We got one last topic for you guys today, and I shared this with the guys in the group chat earlier. My man Kevin Gardner was the first one to give a subtlety to how he felt about it. So, Kevin, take it on, man. Let me know what you think about what we're about to talk about.
He's talking about Rush Hour 4 for everybody out here. And look, y'all. Look, I'm just going to go and tell y'all, I don't give a damn about this movie. I don't. You know how somebody just, you have a conversation with somebody and they are talking about something that you couldn't care less about. Mm-hmm. This is that film. Listen, I like the first Rush Hour. Like the second one. Okay, the third one, not so much. And I just feel like this Rush Hour 4 is part of this whole Hollywood pandering to people with these sequels. Now, I'm gonna do a call back to the conversation we had a little bit earlier. Jeremy, this is why I am pro Netflix and pro Amazon and this and that, because the filmmakers who are actually being creative and have original stories, I'm talking outside of horror now, are actually they actually have a home. They actually have a home here on these things that we're watching at the house. But what we see though is when you take these original ideas and they go to the big guys, they don't put any money behind the marketing budget, or the movie turns out a certain way or whatever. And I'm just tired of this cash grab remakes. And that's what this is right here. Continuing on this story that nobody gives a damn about. Like, nobody wants to see a 45-year-old Chris Tucker running around with a 70-year-old Jackie Chan. Like, listen, we get it. Jackie Chan will beat you to sleep. I understand that. But they're going to come back and say them same words. You understand the words coming out of my mouth? They're going to come back and do that same foolishness.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And I just don't want it. I'm sick of it. And I don't want it. So I know I'm normally not negative, and I have not seen the movie, and it might be funny, it might be hilarious, or whatever. I don't care. And I'm coming off of it. I leave it alone.
What he did this 2004, man? Come on, man. I'm not telling you. Oh, wow. Jeremy, go ahead, man.
No, dude, don't turn it over to me. Let's mix it up for a second.
You know what? I would love to go next.
Please.
Let's take it off, man. Let's take it off.
Okay, Kevin, I completely disagree with everything you just said.
Nice. Diver bad black ticket holder. Here we go.
Listen. Okay, Bad Boys 3 is coming out in, I believe, next year, right? No, like, seriously, Bad Boys 3 is coming out next year. The first two movies, comedically, I love them. Action-wise, they're okay. Story, terrible stories, in my opinion. But I'll say the first one's more so a classic, but the second one is like, you know, to a degree, I agree with Kevin. It's a pandering movie. I will say that when Will Smith and Martin Lawrence announced that they were doing Bad Boys 3, right? Yo, I'm not going to lie. I was like, yo, this would be dope, because their chemistry in that movie and those movies were amazing. Now, I know for a fact, and keep in mind, Michael Bay directed those last two, so that's probably why the stories were not as great. So now that we got a different director on this movie, and we've seen what Will Smith has been doing, I'm like, yo, like, this could be an actual good, not necessarily a remake, but a continuation of the story. I love Marcus and Mike. And the reason why I bring up Bad Boys 3 is because it's somewhat in the same vein as Carter and Lee. And I'm not going to lie, like, yo, Rush Hour 2, like my wife would say, Rush Hour 2 is one of my favorite films, especially that scene where Chris Tucker is dancing, doing the Michael Jackson, and in front of all these Chinese people, nobody knows what he's saying. And that is the hilarious thing about this. Like, it is so funny. Their chemistry was funny. Now, the last movie...
just now used another movie to justify how this movie is going to be good.
Wait, hold on. I'm not done yet, Jeremy. I'm not done.
Right.
I'm about to bring this home, okay? Right. So, the first two films of Rush Hour, in my opinion, were good, really good films. Really good films, and we have to say that a lot of fans were calling for them to come back for the third film. Now, I agree with most people that the third film is definitely the weakest out of all of that trilogy, for the most part. And I will say not a lot of people after the third film were calling for a fourth film. That's where I agree with Kevin on this. But I'm not going to lie. When I see, like today, I even posted the picture on my Instagram and on Facebook. I said, listen, you know, just to see their banter again, that would be amazing. You know, like, I think that this film, and the reason why I brought up the Bad Boys franchise and this franchise, because in a sense, they're somewhat identical. You got two people who really don't know each other from both films to a degree, and they have to work together, and it's comedically hilarious. It is so funny. Like, even in Rush Hour 3, there's some redeemable parts, especially when Carter's trying to argue with the sensei, and he's like, you know, who are you? I'm like, I'm you. No, who are you? No, I'm you. I'm like, stop. I'm that's what I'm talking to. Who are you? I'm like, I'm you. He's me.
That's precisely why I don't want to see another one of these movies.
He was like, yo, and I'm about to whoop your old ass. You, me, everybody's ass up in here. Him, like, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. So for me personally, I would love to see a film. Now, here's why I kind of backtrack in terms of putting it in theaters. This should be a Netflix movie. Now, you put this
That's even worse.
You put this in a summer season, I don't know if people go, because think about it, most blockbusters come out in the summer. Arguably speaking, April is the start of the summer season of movies. You put this in the summer, I don't know how that's going to do. Even if you put this in the fall, like where people don't really go see movies, it may do well, but keep in mind, there are people who are clamoring for this movie. It may not be a lot, but like, think about it. I look at it like this, and this goes back to Bad Boys 3. People were not necessarily clamoring for a Bad Boys 3. But as soon as they seen Will Smith and Martin Lawrence together, everybody was like, yo, I can't wait to see this movie. Same aspect. Like, I put out the picture of them holding up the number 4 on my Instagram. For today, I've had more likes and more responses to that one picture than I have the whole month of April. Like, that does
the whole entire market, dude.
I'm just saying, like, it's a movie that I think should be considered, and if it is, really good it should be on Netflix.
You're right. It does have like a really similar formula to Bad Boys, which is a good thing. That buddy cop formula, a lot of times, like, you nailed it. Like, the odd couple dancer that goes back and forth. People like those two cast members and all that kind of stuff. I can appreciate that there are people that are fans of that franchise, but I do feel like, and I'm far from wanting to be like the freaking woke police, but like, I just feel like a lot of that humor is kind of out of fashion right now, and I feel like it would have to, like, they'd have to kind of reinvent what it is, because funny accents, I don't know if we're there anymore as far as like what mainstream audiences are willing to like go with. Does that check out, or does that seem like, am I reaching?
No, it is exactly why I don't want these movies. I watched Martin Lawrence do stand-up probably about 7-8 months ago. Mm-hmm. And he was trying to do jokes from Martin and just stuff that just seemed like it was from 95, 96.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, Chris Tucker has made me laugh. You know, I think Money Talks is his funniest movie.
Oh yeah.
But
wait, Kev, are you talking about when Dave Chappelle helped him get his stand-up together? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, you talking about Martin Lawrence?
No, not Martin, but you said you saw Will Smith do stand-up.
No, if I said, I meant to say Martin Lawrence if I said that.
Okay.
He was doing jokes from Martin and stuff that just seemed really dated. It really was. My point is that people go get these films did great when they came out, but they are of their time. They are very of their time, and when they come with this stuff these days, like, I don't know, like Chris Tucker doing that Michael Jackson thing in that movie. Alex, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, you 26. I'm 36. And this is not the old. It's not the old guy trying to tell the young guy he don't know anything. That ain't what this is. I watched him do that. I watched him do that same thing on Def Comedy Jam when you was probably eating popsicle. You know?
Yeah, I remember. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is, I like Chris Tucker. I just think we got all we gonna get from him. His stand up is not funny. Like, dog, like I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, are we gonna do this black man in the middle of all this Asian shit again? Are we doing that? Because that's what Journey's talking about, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, are we doing that again? Like that's only gonna go so far with me. You know what I mean? So my point is this. This is my only point. Bad Boys 3, and these movies could be hilarious. Like, I can totally eat these words, and we'll come back to this. My only point I'm making is this. The space that they're using for these films, we could be using for something else. We should be getting something new. Like, remember when Life came out with Eddie and Martin or whatever?
Oh, that movie is a classic. Oh, that movie
is a classic, right? That was something new, a team up we hadn't seen before, and they took it in a different direction. That's all I'm asking for. Hell yeah, I want to see Martin and Will in the movie, but you know, can we do something else? You know what I'm saying? But hey, you're right. You are right, because the social media response from both of those things has been great. I can't even lie. So I'm gonna sit on my front porch and be the grumpy old man and tell y'all to get off my lawn. You know what I'm saying? You know, and act up. But
I think we can all come together and agree that at least Brett Ratner is a stand-up guy. Like, I hope him all the success in the future, because he seems like a real stand-up dude.
Get the fuck out of here.
I was about to say, are you serious? Like,
no. He's completely joking.
Oh, okay, because Malcolm, like, we might have to like talk to Jeremy after this is over.
No. Right. But the thing is, though, what's so great about this show and all of us getting together, right? We are all different ages. And Alex, I like the fact that you said, hey, wait a minute, Kev, I like this and I'm ready to see this. And you are speaking from a perspective that I don't have and I don't share, and I love that. I do, and that's why I love doing these, because you are making perfect sense. You haven't said anything wrong with you. I'm just being old and grumpy. So that's just what it is.
Right.
But no, it's great, man.
Too, man. I think it's so fun. It's all right to not agree on everything.
Back in my day, we watched Eddie Murphy and the Sweaty Food doing comedy.
Right. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
But man, guys, we have had an amazing show as always. Glad to have you back, Jeremy. It's going down with this new run of Fandom Talk, guys. We're doing some amazing things, and just appreciate everybody for joining us, guys. Jeremy, let everybody know where they can find you at.
Check out Be Terrible on Facebook. Make sure to head over there and click a like on that page. And also, Be Terrible on YouTube. If you are a Twitter user, it is Jeremy Be Terrible on Twitter. So yeah, head over there, say what's up to me. Always good to hear from you. And yeah, dude, Malcolm, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure, and it was good to riff with you guys for a little bit.
Man, my man Alex.
Yo, you guys can find me on YouTube at Momentum Media, where we do at least three shows a week. Ask Alex, a new episode of that will come out tomorrow. Hero TV will come out Wednesdays or Thursdays, and then Gaming with Alex, I just released the episode this past Friday, so that comes out on Fridays as well. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Alex Hampton, and you can follow my Momentum Media Facebook page at facebook.com/Momentum Media. And one quick plug that I will definitely be at Orlando MegaCon, which is basically like San Diego Comic-Con, just here in Orlando, where I'm going to see a whole lot of different famous people, and we will be live streaming the event and taking pictures with them, and possibly, God willing, if I can get an interview with one of those guys. And yeah, so stay tuned for that.
And you can also catch them in the new stage play, Diary of a Mad Black Ticket Holder, coming to you guys this summer. And my man Kevin Gardner. So what's going on, Kevin?
Hey, what's up, man? Y'all can find me at Hubster Picks on IG and Hubster Picks on Facebook.
Most definitely. You guys know who we are. We're FANDOMSANONYMOUS. We're all over social media, right here on YouTube where you're watching this, and on SoundCloud where you're listening to this as well. I hope if you're listening to this while you're driving, we've kept you very well entertained. Go hit us on Instagram at Fandoms_Anonymous17, and also find us on the Fandoms Anonymous Facebook page. And Jeremy, I went through a whole show with not a sandwich ref. That's a first.
Oh my God!
This time, that means we get double the sandwich references next time.
That's right. That's
right. But guys, we'll see you guys later, and as always, we'll see you in another video. Bye.